Hey, I'm Jonathan Braylock,
I'm Luke Job.
And I'm Sergio.
and this is the Floor Play.
Oh, yeah. Who gets it in?
The crowd goes wild. People are taking their shirts off. It's crazy.
Welcome, guys. This is the Floor Play podcast. We are reviewing season 4 of The Floor on Fox, hosted by Rob Lowe. All of us have been on the show, so we're giving you the inside scoop and delving into the strategy of The Floor. Really peeking in there. And this is the first episode where every single one of us as hosts have been eliminated already. So this is brand new to all of us, which is really
Losers.
fun. Really fun.
So if there's any behind the scenes goodies, Julie, you have to tell us
Yeah, exactly.
because
That's why we have.
we weren't there.
I thought it had to be a surprise.
But yes, we have some incredible guests today, including Julie. Welcome. Julie had the category of Christmas, and you were repping North Dakota or South
North Dakota.
Okay, North
No,
Dakota.
North Dakota. The superior of the Dakotas.
That's what I
Come
thought.
on.
Fargo
I think
State.
a lot of people. I think a lot of people would say South Dakota is the superior because they got the Mount
No,
Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, they have a tourist attraction. We don't have those. We have the Badlands. If you ever heard of
Yeah.
that.
Badlands are cooler than Mount
Yeah.
Rushmore. Mount Rushmore
Right.
is actually a massive bust.
I would agree.
Because is it like really small?
It's so small.
Yeah, that's
And
what
You
it is.
and you
You're a
drive
distance
so
away.
far.
Yeah.
You drive so far, and then you're there, and you're like, "That's how big they are." Like, you're like, "They're kind of little."
Yeah.
And there is no national treasure hidden behind it.
Right.
That's true.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's like the Mona Lisa. If you ever
Yeah.
see the Mona Lisa in person, it's so tiny. Anyway, yes,
Small
I've-
flex.
I've been to the
Yeah.
Louvre, guys.
See, I haven't done that. Sorry.
I've been to
But there you
Paris. Anyway, let's get into it. This episode had a lot of twists and turns. Started off as the whale, but that did not last long. Here's the thing: I've been.
Go back. Why did he go?
He had his. To be fair, he had his own category, and
I think that's the
I-
appealing
I-
part
Category he
every
didn't
time.
know.
well, yeah, we'll have to get into that. I will say this: I did this last time, Sergio. I broke down the percentage of how many times people stayed versus going back to the floor, and I updated it for this episode. And guess what? It increased.
Went
So now
higher, yep.
now we're at 58%. Our season, 58% of the time, people decide to keep playing instead of going back to the floor, which is
That's nuts.
nuts.
That's nuts.
49% for seasons 1 and 2 and 43% for season 3. Season
Wow.
3, they were always going back to the floor. And by the end of this episode, 54% of people who challenged somebody won. So in terms of the whole season. Okay, but why don't we talk about this first, Jewel, before we get into your backstory, Julie?
Yeah.
Because Laz goes back to the floor, and there are a few islands, and was it the first? No, who was the first person randomized? Sorry, I'm
Jacob, right?
Jacob. That's right.
Yeah.
So Jacob gets randomized, and he decides to take on leather. And this was a category which I remember when I first saw it in the list, I was like, what the heck is this going to be? But then I feel like it was Jacob, actually, who I was talking to, who was like, yeah, it's probably just going to be like boot and like wallet and stuff. And then I was like, oh, yeah. And then when this category was played, I was like, why didn't I ever think about playing this category? I really never
Yeah.
did. It just
It was
wasn't
just
in my
stuff.
mind. But well, it was just stuff. What did you guys think about leather?
I thought both gentlemen did well. It was interesting because we haven't talked a lot about Gary. Gary was not confident going up there. Like Gary kind of was like, "Well, I've already lost." I'm like, "Why? Why, dude? It's your category. What are you talking about? You've already lost." Yeah, Jacob's a really intelligent dude, but like, he's just a man. He's
He
just
is
a
just a
man.
man.
And then also, we haven't seen still on the show. He could win it all, so I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but. Man, Jacob was not locked in. Like he won, but there were moments where he would get something or almost pass, and then you would kind of look around
He
like,
was stressed. He was stressed.
yeah, he was stressing. I was really surprised by that, especially for some dude that's been on Survivor. You were on an island with no food. This is nothing to you,
Right.
surely, right? Why are you stressing? What do you think, Serge?
So he, just in Jacob in particular, he was such an intimidating player to a lot of people. I think there's been a general consensus that people were afraid of him because when he spoke to you, man, he was so calm, so well spoken, sharp as nails. He didn't portray that when he went up there. I'll agree with you there, Luke. It felt like he was a bit more frazzled, stressed. Felt like the pressure was getting to him, but he didn't waver. At the end of the day, he stayed solid. He made it
Yeah,
through
he
the
still won
duel,
it.
and I do think that it may have like shown people that he is human. Like, hey, he is just a man. He didn't, because I'm telling you, outside of him up there on the stage, every other moment it was intimidating. That guy was just well spoken. So I do feel like it made him look human when he went up there the first time, and that's just indicative of the nerves, right? When you go up there for the first time, it's real. It becomes real real quick, and you saw that with him. So, but good for him for kind of sticking through it, powering through, and he won the duel kind of handedly in the end.
Yeah, he definitely had more speed. Gary got tripped up on a couple of things. I think
Armor.
one of them was armor, which, that it's yeah, I don't know. I don't know why but anyway, it was like armor, it was like jewelry
He's not
box.
playing enough Dungeons and Dragons. I was like, my
Yeah.
boy Jacob plays D&D, and
Yeah.
Gary was not on the D&D train with the armor.
There was a moment where it seemed like I think it happened two times in the duel where Jacob said a couple of answers and then said pass, but had gotten it right before he said pass. But I feel like the second time that happened, he said pass and then he got it, but he had gotten it right. And then it seemed like Gary thought it was still
Yeah,
Jacob's turn.
froze.
I don't know if he like wasn't looking at the screen or like heard pass, and so maybe he took his eyes off of it or whatever. Then he realized it was his turn, so that took out a couple of seconds. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
To be
What do you think?
fair, I think that, well, Jacob's initial plan was to go for famous teachers, and
Right.
I took that category
You
away. So
did.
leather wasn't like his initial decision to take his first duel on. So that wasn't what he was like studying for the whole time.
Got it.
So he kind of
There
had
Being
to
was
switch
a there
gears
randomized.
was a
there.
night between those two episodes, right? Like,
No,
no,
no, no,
those
Eight,
were the
no, no, no.
nine,
same
This is all
day.
the same
nine.
day.
Same day.
Yeah, episodes 8, 9, and 10
Whoa.
were the same day,
Yep.
which I just
Oh, 8,
remember.
9, and 10.
Yeah,
That's right. Okay.
because I remember going to bed at the end of episode 6 and 7, and I was like doing all these plans and studying, and then I woke up that morning and went, "There's no way you're lasting for 3 episodes. Like, just calm down. Just get over it."
Yeah.
It's why I was able to be so like happy at the end because I was just like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, man." I was going. I
Yeah.
was
You
getting
just,
out.
yeah.
And honestly, seeing a lot of these duels played, I was like, there are a few categories I felt like I still could have won, but there weren't a lot. Like, and we'll get
Right.
into this, Julie, because Christmas was one I think that I feel like a lot of people felt like, except for Jacob. Did you know that Jacob wasn't going to come for you?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So you were like, you were confident. He's not challenging me.
Yes, yeah.
And here's the thing. I realized because I was a little surprised he went back to the floor, and then I realized, wait, if he truly feels like I'm going to lose in Christmas, and even though he felt like he could take up on hip hop stars, like he had a decision to make. Either I'm playing for 250 or I'm just playing for this episode's 20 because the only 3 duel he would be able to do is hip hop stars and then the whale, which
Yep.
was arcade. And maybe he felt like, and I think people, I don't know, Laz was not necessarily the most intimidating, but I feel like he still felt like he probably
was
knew
confident.
He was confident.
Yeah,
It
he
felt
was
like
confident.
he knows his category, and he talked about how owning those arcades and stuff like that. And so it's just like, why risk
This
it?
is how rumors start. I thought that man owned an arcade. Someone, I swear,
Well,
somebody
His
told me that man
basement
He-
was
owned.
an arcade.
I think he also has helped build an arcade game.
Yeah.
Right, that's what he
Yes.
said.
He
too.
he sat next to me at the table all
This is
season in like
this is
our
all so
lunch place.
so different.
Right.
So
That's so funny. There are so
That's
many
how it
rumors.
starts.
There are so many
There
rumors.
was, yeah.
Some started intentionally, and some that I feel like took on a telephone game,
Life of their own.
life of their own. So Jacob goes back to the floor. Randomizer happens again, and then this is when Nikki gets randomized, right?
Yep.
And Nikki's on an island. So There was no decision. It was, all right, let's go, arcade. And I got to tell you, I was shocked. I was shocked
Me too.
that,
Me too.
and now to be fair, I do think when I was studying for this, I definitely was studying way more older, like classic arcade games.
Same.
And I wasn't really thinking like Dave and Buster's, Chuck E. Cheese kind of thing. That being said, some of that stuff is just, it's more generic. It's kind of like, oh, if you grew up as a kid and just went to one of those things at least once, you would know some of this stuff, right? Okay, we got ball pit is
Whack-a-mole.
what whack-a-mole and
Yeah.
skee ball and stuff. But yeah, ball pit is what tripped him up first, I feel like. And he really got like, he got stuck on that for like a long time, which was unfortunate. And then, yeah, I feel like after that, he just got frazzled and Nikki kind of hung in there. And then Ticket Eater, I think that one is definitely a bit tougher. It's not a term that I'm like, oh yeah, I guess that's what that's called. Like, I don't know. I would just call it ticket.
Especially because it's all like digital cards nowadays.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And even back
there are
then,
no tickets to be eaten.
yeah, exactly. I was like, even back then, I would be like, oh, ticket machine, ticket taker. I don't know.
Especially judging a book by its cover, I was like, Laz, obviously when I'm watching, I thought Laz owned an arcade. But also it's like Nikki does not give arcade vibes. Nikki is the pretty popular girl who's like into cheerleading or something. Not to typecast you, Nikki. Sorry if you're watching. But
and her category is
like,
home organization. It's not...
Yeah, exactly. I was like, Nikki's not gonna know arcade. And then boy howdy, she was calm, cool, and collected.
Yeah.
Yeah, Laz didn't stand a chance.
Guitar Hero, he
Oh yes.
really stumbled on.
He got it eventually, right?
Yeah.
But he did say a few
took him a
different
while.
things first. Yeah.
So yeah, that was shocking. So when this happened, Julie, what was in your... Actually, wait, let's go back now.
Okay.
You got the category of Christmas. Is this a category you chose?
No.
No. Okay.
No. I understood why I
what
got
did
it
you-
though.
Yeah.
What did you want?
Well, my top 3 were NFL quarterbacks and volleyball,
That would've been fun.
and then kindergarten, actually.
Oh,
Okay.
That would
yeah.
have been a good one. That would have been
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
That's... I'm so... I don't
I know. Why didn't they just give you kindergarten? They could've
Yeah,
easily-
That would've been
like,
really
why
good.
not? Like, that's
Yeah.
it. That's
Yeah.
in their wheelhouse of like doing
Yeah.
random items that
Mhm.
are fun and easy. That's
Yeah.
wild. Wait,
Yeah.
did you have a sense, like when you were talking to them, that they might give you a category you had asked for, or
Yes, they absolutely like told me, yeah, we're pushing for it was NFL quarterbacks first because they claim girls know nothing about sports.
right? And
So
it'll
that
be
was
fun.
like the initial push. And then they told me there was a D1 volleyball player, so chances of me getting that were not going to happen. But then he didn't get that either. It was Aaron.
Oh,
Yeah. And then I was
Hernandez,
like,
Aaron
wow,
Hernandez.
okay.
volleyball is a little more niche, especially if they were
Niche.
getting into players. I don't
Yeah.
think the vast majority of people know that. But like NFL quarterbacks, certainly, I'm like, I guess because they had Hall of Famers, they didn't do that. But that would have been fun. And then kindergarten just feels like it's just like right up and also right up the floor's alley. Were you talking about Christmas during at all? Like why do you think you got it?
When we had to send the pictures of like our collections and stuff. So I have my Christmas sweater collection of over 50 Christmas sweaters. So I assume that's why I got it.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is Jeremy and I knew each other prior to going. And when the list came out, we were
What?
talking. Yeah. When you only live 60 miles apart, you're neighbors in North
Yeah,
Dakota.
in North
To be
Dakota.
fair.
North Dakota.
Yeah, in North Dakota,
Gotcha.
60 miles apart is a neighbor. So,
Yeah.
but we didn't know each other applied. So then when we found that out like a week before we left, he's like, your category's not on the list. And I was like, he's like, do you think there's any other one that could be yours? And I was like, yeah, maybe Christmas. I also thought Hall of Famers.
Mm.
And then he's like, I actually had Christmas on my top 3. And then I found out Kelsey
North
did too.
Dakotans.
I found out Kelsey did too, though. So
right.
I was
Dakotans.
shocked.
Dakotans in general love
Yeah.
Christmas.
So I
This
was
is
kind of
crazy.
surprised that I got it when 2 other people had it in their top 3 categories, to be
Yeah.
fair.
And you didn't. That's wild.
Yeah.
There's no rhyme or reason. We'll never understand this.
No.
There's no rhyme or reason to it. And at this point, I feel like the amount of people we've talked to, guys, I'm going to go up and say like 70% of people didn't get the category that they.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Uh,
Yeah.
it
Someone
is.
just posted on the Facebook group about that. They were like, the guy from New Mexico, not me, but Brad, just said on the news that he didn't even pick his category. What's up with that? Like, I didn't think that was like, listen, lady, we're all
Most of
sad.
us
Listen, lady.
Yeah.
didn't.
Most people didn't, which like it's a game show and I think none of us really like we all were like game for it. But it does feel like there is a slight to
Misinformation.
significant advantage to people who get the category that they applied with.
And
But
I
anyway,
think that's like the bit of information that people that I like have told around here that have been fans of the show that has bothered them the most is that we
yeah.
actually are not experts in our category.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really tough when it feels super random, like junk in the trunk,
Yeah.
as opposed to for me,
Yeah,
like
poor
I didn't put
Beatles songs.
or they gave me podcasters, which when I initially got it, I was so bad, but then it wound up being a blessing because I didn't realize
Yeah, with
so many people were going to be
like
scared of
judges
it.
came from my interview. Like,
Yeah,
and I didn't bring it up. He brought it up. He was like, "Could you do this?" And I'm like, "Yes, of course I can do anything you give me. Just
right,
put me on the show."
right.
Like, yeah, but it was so whack. I never once mentioned judges.
Yeah,
But you're a
um,
lawyer, so it made sense.
And when I
Exactly.
got Christmas, I was like, okay, fair. And I was introduced to myself as Christmas, easy target. I know. Because, I mean,
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
So,
But
all right, you
but
know
it
what?
wasn't.
Segue into that. You called yourself an easy target, and I'm just going to take it back real quick, John, because we
Please.
on this podcast we talked a little smack in regards to like the you and Jacob situation. I'm not sure if you remember this, but when you were first randomized and you dueled famous teachers, I believe it was episode 8,
Mhm.
you decided to go back to the floor. But before you did that, you went on a spiel and said you might come after so and so, and Jacob looked really concerned with what
Oh,
you were doing.
right.
Me and
He fell to
John
the ground
made,
even.
Yeah.
yeah, he did fall to the ground. So I made the comment that I don't feel he was worried about you. I felt more that he was bummed out that you didn't come after him because I figured a competitor like him really wanted control and to do his thing on the floor. So I felt he was more disappointed that you didn't come after him rather than him being relieved that you didn't come after him. We've talked to Jacob. That was not the case at all. Would you like to share what the actual situation was?
Yeah, he actually thought I was coming for him because that morning I was strictly talking to him all morning in Beatles song titles. So every single thing I said to him, like I was like, man, this has been a hard 8 days a week. And like I just literally talked to him in strictly Beatles song titles. And then so did Brad. We both started like jumping in. So
You guys,
Jacob's sitting
psychological
between,
warfare.
yes, Jacob's sitting between both of us, and we are literally just talking to him in Beatles songs. And then he had walked up behind me one time and I was at the tables and I was studying Beatles songs. And then I quickly like put it away. And he's like, "No, what are you doing? You can study." I was like, "No, I just know you're gonna come for me. And when I beat you in Christmas, I have to be able to defend Beatles songs. So this is what I'm doing." And so he laughed. But no, he actually thought I was coming for him. And and even they cut this out on the thing, but I said I've had a little help from my friends, but for now I'm just gonna let it be when Rob Lowe asked me about
Let
Beatles
it
songs. So
be.
I even threw in the
Wow.
titles
You were like,
in
I
the little
know him.
segment. Yes. So I was scaring him. And actually, after the fact, my family was all like, "Why didn't you go for Beatles songs? You knew them." And I was like, "Meh, I don't think I
Yeah.
could beat Jacob in it."
So I
But
guess it is fair to say that Jacob's emotions, what were portrayed there, were genuinely fear. He was like, "Oh
yeah.
man, she's,"
Yeah.
and so he was relieved he didn't come after him. So me and you, John, we were wrong in our assessments, and I will
Well,
admit that.
I initially said that
Mostly
it
me.
seemed like it was yeah.
But
It
the
was
other
me. It was
thing
me.
your family's like not like honing in on is you, like me, demonstrated both strategies depending on where you were at. So the first time you get randomized, you win one, you're on the edge. There's not really necessarily at that point a reason to keep going. You still have your category. So you go back. I did the exact
Yep.
same thing. I won the one, I still had my category, I went back. Then now you have the whale. It's like, well,
Right.
what are
Yep.
you going to do? Go back with home organization that anybody's going to challenge? No, you got to keep playing. So
Were you
yeah, your
surprised, by the
strategies.
way, that Nikki chose you or to play?
I wasn't necessarily surprised, but to be fair, none of us in my corner even talked about what we were actually going to be
Yeah.
like
Hmm.
challenging. So like it was probably a surprise to Johnny back when I challenged him because I never mentioned who I was going to challenge.
Right.
And Nikki and I never talked about that either. So like we built friendships, but we didn't build like gameplay
Got it.
friendships in a sense.
Everybody was
So
keeping their cards close to their chest.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it's interesting. We should talk about this because at this point in the game, we are starting to run out of categories.
Yes.
And I like, and like, this is so early on. So, like, Nikki beats Laz in his own category. Then she has her category. Now, I feel like she might think, okay, this is not too intimidating a category, so I got to keep playing. But I'm wondering, like, do you guys think this was the right move to go after Christmas? Yeah, do you think like
Absolutely.
anybody would have challenged? Because I'm also wondering how many people like Jacob there are who, if they get randomized, will just do their one or maybe three to get a time boost and six. I guess there's only like two people who can actually do that at this point. But yeah,
Especially, you know that there's still 20K up for grabs.
Right.
And at that point, there's still what, like 22 people on the floor. So there's no reason to assume that you're not going to be right back up there with home organization. Somebody wants that 20K. And some people, like the Franks of the world, and now Jacob, and potentially others, are thinking, I'm playing for 250. Right. And Jacob even had that talking head of like, you're playing for the quarter mil. But there's still going to be somebody randomized at the end, just like what happens in this episode with Valerie. So Nikki knows if she goes back, she's going to be back up there. You might as well try and get that time boost to lock in either A, people not challenging you, like when you won your second 20, Jonathan, or B, just giving yourself a better shot at the 20. But it's tough. The math is hard to really compare because what happened with Nikki, right? She lost against Julie.
right.
So it's like higher risk for potential safety. I don't know. It's tough. It's just
It's
really
tough.
hard.
Thought too, I mean, there's a lot on islands, so I think that would go. But like, how many of us
That's
would
also true.
challenge the whale the second duel of the night also, or third? Because now you're
Right.
like, okay,
Well,
now I'm up
that's
here
I think
and
that's
I
more
have
my
to make it.
question.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like there's a part of me that's like, obviously, I'm set the example of like I'm gonna go three in a row, but like there is another part of me that was like, well, you have your own category. There's a chance that people might go back and like, why not wait until closer to the end where you have to do it as opposed to doing it immediately? But either way, I do think you're right that she would have had to play probably at least two more times in this episode, even if she went back to the floor. Anyway, she takes on Christmas, and Julie, were you pretty like when you were up there? Were you like, oh
Well,
no?
I think it
Yeah.
helped that I had already gone up in
Yeah.
episode 8. That was where I was not confident. And I really didn't like the categories by me to begin with.
Yeah.
Like I had combat films, which that wasn't my gig. And
Yeah.
then swamplands, I live in North Dakota.
Yeah.
We don't have swamplands here. And little does people know, Jez is a genius. And so
If you talk to him long enough, you would figure that out, though. It
Oh,
doesn't
yes.
take much. Like
Yes.
you
Yeah.
have a
Well,
conversation with that guy.
we don't know that at all yet on the show.
No, but
Because
I
she's barely been
sat
seen.
next to him. Yes, and I
Yeah.
sat next to him
Yeah.
forever, and I was like, okay, and that's not working. So then
Yeah.
I was like, well, Johnny, so funny story, not talking bad about Johnny, but when we showed up to our photo shoot day, he was with me because Jay's, and he didn't have his outfit on, he wasn't ready to go, and they told us to do that.
Right.
And he's like, wait, was I supposed to come dressed? And the guy's like, yeah. And he's like, do you want me to go up and get ready? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, oh. And I didn't know he was next to me at that point. And I was like, well, he didn't read the rules. That's a weakness.
Yeah.
The player I'm about to attack. And then he ended up being right next to me.
Incredible.
So
And
then
did you
that
s-
helps. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Did you study famous teachers before you dueled him?
Yes, because once I realized I was next to him.
Right.
But I didn't know I was next to anybody until like 20 minutes before we went on because they gave it to us with little to no time. But then I had to go back up and get my makeup redone. And
Oh,
so I didn't
I
have
remember
time
that.
to do anything.
yeah.
I believe they
Yeah.
fired a makeup artist because of you. Is that
Well,
correct?
she went home. It wasn't just me. There was like
Sergio.
5 of us.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Now, I will say she never came back after
They
that.
fired
which
a
is
they fired a
sad.
makeup artist because of the makeup artist not doing their job properly.
Yeah, there was
Yes,
5
yes.
of
It
us.
wasn't
I
because
think.
of
Yeah,
Julie.
Julie didn't get her fired.
It
Yeah.
was actually David that said, "Go back up there, girl. You need
Yeah.
to feel confident." So
Yeah.
then I took Sibel with
As
me.
you should, as you should.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Um,
then I studied that. So then
yeah.
that I think got my nerves away. Like once you're up there once, you guys realize that. Once you're up there once, your nerves are kind of like, okay, yeah, that's good. So I'm glad I got
Hmm.
that one out of the way because I would feel sad if
Yeah.
Christmas was my first one because I don't know how confident I would have been, maybe.
Well, it's
Well, you
clear
were,
that it helped because
yeah,
you
Yeah.
smashed that
yeah.
Christmas category and you didn't pass, right? I don't believe
You
you
didn't
did.
pass. It didn't seem like you ever were going to.
No.
You didn't even stumble, really.
Well, mistletoe holly was the only one where
Oh
I
yeah.
first
And
said
you said
holly,
holly, and then you
then
said mistletoe.
mistletoe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Which
Was that
makes
about
sense.
maybe 3 seconds, maybe?
Yeah.
You won with 23 seconds left on
Yeah.
the clock. So
Yeah,
yeah,
Nikki.
that's
Yeah,
a handy beating. Like
it
On
you
a
was.
had
category
over half
people
your
thought was
time
speed,
left.
right? That's the
Easy.
thing that you
I
got to
would
remember
say
is like,
so. I would
Hmm.
say so. It
so to
was.
win a speed category with 23 seconds is impressive, to
Yeah,
say
because
the least.
Yeah.
and I still feel like literally when I saw that duel, I was like, I have no idea if I would have beat Julie. Like
I've been giving you crap this whole time, but
you
that's
know.
what I was wondering. Did you think you could do it? No, I'm just kidding.
I think it would have been closer for sure, but I don't know. Like yeah, like I know Nativity Scene. And what was one she got?
The
What was the
holly
She
was the
missed
other one.
Holly. Holly, yeah, she
Oh,
missed
Holly,
Holly.
I would have got.
Yeah.
Holly, I would have got that because when I was thinking about Christmas, I was like, the hard ones they're going to try to throw up there are mistletoe and holly because some
Mhm.
people don't recognize those. And then I thought, like, oh, are they going to put like? I wasn't sure. The tree skirt was one where I was like, I didn't study Christmas, and that's why I didn't duel it.
I didn't either, actually.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And I think that tree skirt was one that in my mind I was like, what's that thing called that they put around the tree? And I was like, I gotta study that at some point. So I don't know if I would have gotten that.
I think the other one
Inflatable.
that was a little tricky that I was surprised that I got, to be honest, was partridge.
Oh yeah, partridge.
Oh,
I know, it looked
yeah.
like a
I don't know where
quail.
I pulled that out of, to
I
be
also said
honest.
quail.
I said
That
quail
was
at
the nail in the
first.
coffin.
Birds associated
Partridge.
Christmas, and there's only one, so it's got to be a partridge,
It's
right?
100%, 100%, 100% partridge. Inflatables, I said, and I think when it came up when I was playing along at home, I said inflatable Santa because that's the first one that I saw, and I wonder if they would have gotten if I would have gotten it if I just said inflatable.
That's one of those things where it's like you might say we all know what it is,
Yeah,
but it's like you say the wrong thing and you're just standing there like Nikki. She was like, "Blow up men."
yeah,
Yeah,
blow up, man. Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Okay, and then so what was your
The other thing,
thinking? Oh yeah, sorry, go ahead.
well, let's also just briefly talk about teachers. We haven't gotten to talk to you about your first duel, which was 2 episodes prior,
Oh
but
right,
you dueled Johnny, famous teachers. Johnny definitely seemed out of it, but this was much closer. You had 5 seconds
Yeah.
left. This
Yeah.
was nerve-wracking. So you had studied teachers clearly,
Yeah, because
and
actually, I have never watched any of those shows that I pulled the teachers from, to
right.
be
yeah,
fair. So I was
yeah.
just,
The ones that you studied,
yep.
you were passing, and then the ones that you studied, you said it. Johnny was pausing a lot. It seemed like sometimes he forgot it was his turn,
Yeah.
like
It's
like
pressure,
multiple
man.
times. Yeah, like Miss Frizzle, he knew Miss Frizzle. It just like he was like looking at it, and then you were like, is he thinking? And then it was like, I think he doesn't know it's his turn. So yeah, it was weirdly a close duel though, like because you only
I know.
won with 5 seconds, but yeah,
Did you have some passes on that one?
Yeah, like
yeah,
4 or
they
5.
both did. Yeah.
Oh,
And I didn't realize
I
it
don't
was that
remember
bad. I
that
felt
now.
better in the moment after that duel. I was like, oh, that was good. And then when I rewatched it, I was like, dang, I
Yeah.
passed
Jeez.
so much.
I studied famous teachers a lot, and that was much harder
That
for
was
me than I
difficult.
expected. I would have never expected to see Ross Geller up there. Is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah. And then Indiana Jones, I got him immediately, but didn't study Indiana
He
Jones,
was
that's
on
for
my
sure.
Yeah.
my
Oh,
Sporkle
nice.
quiz. So I
Yeah.
did
Yeah.
know
Oh,
that.
that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
But
I Abbott Elementary, like I was like, I don't know Quinta Brunson's character's name. I was like, oh, what's
Yeah.
Janine?
I know, I
Love
know.
that
Pass
show.
on that one. I didn't know it either.
It's
Yeah.
always harder for me when I know the actor before the
Flex.
show.
He's
Mhm.
flexing.
It is a flex.
I remember when I
I
found
got
that out, I was
crap
like,
from
I
all
told my
like,
wife, I told my wife, I was like, John knows Miss Teagues. And she's like, no, he doesn't. I was like, he does. Like they've seen each other and talked to each other. She's like, oh, I'm jealous.
Yeah,
But
she-
let's move on real quick if you guys don't mind to the state names because that was another one. You decided to stay
yes.
and play.
This is what I
Crushed
wanted to
Christmas.
play.
I
The
know.
Me too.
state names.
So
Everybody
bad.
did. It
Everybody
sounded like.
did. I was surprised it
Well,
was still
Yeah.
there.
I know. Me too. Me too,
Yeah.
Julie.
Me
I
too.
well, it's
was.
because he was so cornered, right? Jason, after he absorbed it, he
I know.
was tucked away in a place. He had a couple
It's
buffers
true.
around him. So I think
It's
that's why
true.
he stayed as long as he did. But you decided to stay and play. And I think the obvious reason is because you absorbed the whale, right? And you're like, there's
Mhm.
just no chance I can make it through. So you did have a game plan of just going for the time boost or cat swap. When you challenged Jason, were you at all intimidated? Because this man had been with that category for now probably 2 days, physical days, a lot of time to study it. It's a finite category that if you're cramming it, you can do really well in. So how'd you feel going into that? And what went into the decision making to stay on the floor?
Well, I studied that one a lot before we got there. Obviously, everybody did.
Mhm.
State flowers too. But once we got there and it was on the complete other side of the floor from me, I
You
actually
stopped
never
studying it.
went back. Yeah,
Yeah.
I never went back to study
Makes
it.
sense.
And so when I looked out on all the categories that were left, which is very little, to be honest with you, I was
Very
like, well,
little.
I had this one down now, so let's see how it goes. And so it was,
It made sense.
yeah.
And
Mhm. It worked out.
it was a good duel. You both had some flubs. And it's interesting. So this shows how great your composure is because you passed on Peach State, which is
Georgia?
Georgia. And
In my defense,
yes.
the state flowers, there's a peach blossom. And when I was studying state flowers, every time peach blossom came up, I was like, Georgia, and it's New Hampshire. So then
New
I was like,
Hampshire
okay,
has,
now I
yep.
have to disassociate the word peach and Georgia in my brain. So what do you call them? Nuances, Luke? I was like, I have to like, what did you keep saying? I put Georgia and East Coast together, or peach and East Coast. So when I was studying, I was like, peach equals East
Mm,
Coast. Peach equals East Coast.
yeah,
So then I just
not
opened
a
up the
nuance,
wrong.
but
What did you call
a
them?
like
I can't remember.
why am I blanking on the word
The
as
I
well?
I am
recognition.
I am blanking it too. It's
Yeah.
not
Oh, okay.
association. It's
Yeah.
I know what you mean though. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like word
Yeah.
association. Yeah, I was doing
Yeah.
that a lot with those. The
Yes.
one thing about this duel, all right, not to just completely brag on myself, I would have crushed this because I thought that we were going to get the nickname and have to say the state,
Correct.
which I thought was going to be, or is that what it was?
That is what it was.
No, we
No,
got
You
it-
thought
we
we were
got
gonna have to
the
get
other
the
way.
state.
I
Yeah.
thought we were going to get the state and have to say the nickname,
I
which was
studied
going to
both
be
ways. I studied
that
both
would have
ways.
been way harder. That
Yeah.
It
would
would
have
have been
way
harder,
harder.
but if you looked at the prompt, it did say they're going to show the license plate with the
Oh.
nickname, and you have to say the state. And the same thing, Luke. I don't know if you remember. I went back and looked at these prompts too. State flowers will be much easier than we all thought it was going to be because we all thought you're just going to see a flower and you're going to have to say what the flower is, what the state is. They're going to show the flower and the state. And you just have
You
to
just
say the
have
name
to
of the
say.
flower. And so you don't even need the picture of the flower. You're going to see the state and just say what the flower
That's
is.
crazy.
It's
I mean,
so
I
much
wasn't
easier
studying
than that.
pictures of the flowers, to be fair.
Oh, okay. I
did
was.
not. Yeah, no,
I
no,
studied everything
I
both ways. I filled in a map
yeah,
with the nicknames, like I had found a quiz where like it would just show you
yeah,
the outline of
yeah,
the state.
Yeah.
And then I also
yeah.
studied it the other way where I had to like fill in the nickname.
I'm
Yeah.
going to let Brad in just because he's in the waiting room.
Okay.
I
Uh,
absolutely blew through those states. Just
Yeah.
bam, bam, bam,
And then I
bam,
just
bam.
opened
I
up the
was.
wrong file in my brain, and Peach State was
That is
messed
really
up.
tough because it is whack that they gave us two state categories where I also remember studying, but it was the opposite. My wife's from Georgia, so I was never going to miss Georgia being the peach state. But when I saw peach blossom, I'd be like Georgia, and I'm like, no, that's New Hampshire.
Right.
Like chill
So,
on your flowers.
granted, I think I said Florida right away because the peaches resembled oranges, which in that moment I
Oh,
don't
right.
Those license
Florida.
plates look similar.
That's
But
true.
immediately I said New Hampshire right after it. And then when that didn't work, I said like Vermont or something. Like I went another East Coast state.
Every peach,
Yeah.
yeah,
You're like just
every peach.
somewhere up
That's
there.
fine.
Yeah. Brad,
We're-
welcome to the
welcome,
show,
Brad.
Mr.
What
Mustache.
up, Brad?
Looking
Looking good.
handsome. Brad,
Very handsome.
are you on your phone?
I am.
Do you mind turning it like this way?
Yeah.
Hot dog, hamburger.
Yeah.
Look at that guy.
There we
Much
go.
better?
Much better. We can
Nice.
just you can even get
All right.
how more handsome you look. You know what I
That's
mean?
true. That's true. Your
Ooh,
hair
my
is
man is.
really fluffy today too. It's just this is so
It's
good.
very manly.
No, this is normal. On the show is all product. They put product in it. So
Yeah.
That's funny.
Oh,
All right, so before we let Julie go, I do got one question, then I'll give you your
'cause-
flowers, Julie.
well,
Wait, I have
Yeah.
one more
We also
duel.
talk
Yeah,
about-
we got to talk
we
about
have to talk
Mattel.
about
We got to
Mattel.
talk about your freaking category,
Your
Serge.
category. Yeah, this is gonna be a
That's
good
what
talk.
I was
Yeah.
gonna bring up. But no, real quick, back to the duel with Jason though. When you fell behind like
Yeah.
double-digit seconds. Did you ever pay mind to that, to how far you were behind? Did that kind of affect your composure? It didn't look like it did, but being down 15, 13 seconds has got to be a bit alarming. What was going through your mind right there?
I actually don't think I even paid attention to the time at all.
Mhm.
So I just kept
probably
going and
helped.
hoping. Yeah. And then when he started like stumbling, I now watching it back, I can clearly see. Well, I saw it on the commercial way back in the beginning that I was down by a lot.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, okay, fair.
Yeah. And Jason did in this duel what he did in the Impressions duel with Peter Griffin, where
Yeah.
he like said the wrong thing, then looked at it and then was like, wait, no, I know this. And
Mhm.
basically was like, almost did this like, I'm just going to calm myself and slowly think. But it
Mhm.
took so long. And then he finally says the right answer. But by the time he says the right answer, like 10 to 11 seconds have passed. And you're like, it would have been quicker to just pass.
Like I did with the peach stage.
Yeah.
Answer's wrong, pass. And then I was like, duh.
And then
geez.
and then it happened again. Yeah. So that was impressive. So you had won 2 duels in a row. Okay, you were going after your third. You challenged Mattel, and I just want to know, if you had won Mattel, what would you have done? Would you
I
have
would
gone
have
for the
taken a time boost and gone
time
back.
boost? Okay, so you felt
Yeah.
good about home organization, but you
Oh,
just
yeah.
wanted a time
Yeah.
boost for it. Okay.
Yeah.
And my question, I
Absolutely.
guess, would be: it was Mattel. I loved watching it be played, but what made you come after Mattel? Because I don't feel you ever saw that as a category you were going to attack. Was
No.
Armand absorbing it? What was the thought process there?
Yeah, so I actually never studied Mattel at all. Not one bit did I study the Mattel, and it showed. Obviously, I didn't know the specific names of things. But when Jonathan did your little switcheroo,
Yeah.
and obviously we knew Armand was not happy about it.
Certainly was not.
And that was in the same day. So like he had absorbed that in the morning, and this was an evening episode, and I was like, he wasn't happy about it, and he probably hasn't had time to study. And I'm around children every single day and toys every single day. Not only am I worked at a daycare too, so I was like, I think my general knowledge of toys can maybe get Armand caught off guard. So, and I hadn't talked to him at all, so
Right.
like he also didn't know that I was
That
going to
all
work
makes
there.
sense.
Yeah.
That
That
is
does make
sound.
sense.
That's sound logic.
Sound
That
I
logic.
really
know.
is.
And I
'Cause it
wonder
didn't
now,
make
was it
sense
the
to
right
me.
idea? I don't know because I didn't study it,
Well,
but
what else would you have chosen if it wasn't
state
Mattel?
flowers.
And I was wondering that because when you
Yeah.
said the thing about the state flowers, I was like, well, that's another finite category where you
Yeah.
just either you know it or you don't, and you're not gonna be surprised by anything on it.
No, and I wasn't as
No.
confident in that one as nicknames because again, I hadn't studied it since
Right.
before I left because I had forgotten. And had I maybe reviewed state flowers once before that episode started, that's probably where I would have gone.
Okay. Were you?
But
Yeah. Go ahead.
strategically, I mean, that's the play. You used it just didn't work out, and it sucks to say
Yeah.
that because we want to push the strategy. But that's some sound strategy, and I think you made the right move, even though it didn't play out. I know it's hard to say that out loud, but yeah, I think the strategy was pretty sound there. You didn't listen, rock'em sock'em, you know that. We
Oh,
probably
yeah,
say
Yeah,
you
that
said-
too
knock 'em,
much.
sock 'em, rock 'em,
Knock 'em.
sock 'em.
I didn't even
Sock 'em.
realize you said knock'em. I thought you said rock'em sock'em, and I was like, man,
did
they're
I.
not giving it to her just because she didn't say robots. And then
Oh.
people were like, no, she said knock'em sock'em, and I was
I
like,
said
oh,
knock'em.
okay.
But afterwards, I did challenge it, and obviously that.
And
didn't
they were
work.
like, no, you said knock'em sock'em.
They're like,
Yeah,
watch
and
it
they're
on.
like-
They're like, watch it on television. I was like, oh, fine. And then I was like, why did that work? And
That's-
Jacob looks at me and goes, you said knock 'em. I was like, no.
Yeah, because later on they give there was something. Oh, you said, I think it was you too. You said Thomas.
The train.
The
and not
train.
the tank engine.
Yeah, but they gave you that one.
To be fair, he is a train.
He is a train.
100%.
He is a
Come on.
train.
And I think they
We
would've
all
just
know him as
accepted
Thomas the Tank Engine, but yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Probably would've
Thomas.
just said Thomas, yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Thomas alone should get it for you. Yeah. We're on a
Well-
first name basis with Thomas.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Serge, you want to give Julie
Yeah,
your
let's
flowers?
give,
Julie.
let's give you your flowers. Listen, Julie, a lot of people forget that you dueled earlier in the season, episode 8. Nerves were high. It was your first duel. It was impressive that you were able to get through that. later on, your strategy that you showed was psycho competitor. I say that in the most, it's a compliment. I really, every time it's the Mamba mentality, right? Kobe Bryant, when you're a psycho competitor, that's the biggest compliment. You showed that competitiveness. You were aggressive. The duel that you had with Christmas in your own category, defending your category the way you did, as impressive as you did on a category that everybody considered a speed category, you can hold your hat on that. That was very impressive. You're part of the three win duel club, right? Luke is two, John is seven, but you won three duels. That's something that a lot of people a lot of people can't say,
Not quite on John's
right?
level, but hey.
No one's on John's level, really. There's only one other guy.
Yeah,
But no,
only one
but
from this season.
seriously, in all seriousness, right? What you showed during the state nicknames was incredible composure. You never wavered. You were down double digits in that. So it's impressive to see somebody that honestly a lot of people overlooked, a lot of people felt was going to be an easy target. I know myself, I felt that a little bit, if I'm being honest. But you went out there and you showed that you could make a case for a top 10 competitor in the season. Winning three duels, staying aggressive, absorbing the whale, all that is quite daunting. And you handled it very well. You composed yourself, and I want to just give a shout out to like how you were able to stay locked in. That's impressive to see, especially late in the season when things are getting real crazy. 23 seconds on Christmas though is impressive. And overall, I just want you to know that you showed a lot of tenacity and it was very fun to watch. And you had one of the most fierce competitors afraid of you in Jacob, and that's something not a lot of us can say. So congrats to you. You were very impressive. You didn't disappoint in the Mattel duel. I am proud of you. I'm proud of Armand as well. You guys did us proud. So it was fun to watch that. My kids loved you. Your energy was great. So I appreciate everything you did. And there's your flowers. You were great. I hope you hold your head up high.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, guys.
Yeah, you're great. And I will say I thought so. One of the reasons I didn't challenge Christmas was because I felt like you really knew it and I hadn't studied it, and I was like, you know what? Let me not do that. So I feel like you held your own on the floor. Any oh yeah any
I will not let you leave without asking me the
yeah.
percentage. Brad can just wait
Hear
for
it.
a few more
Let's hear
minutes.
it. 20K.
I've been waiting for this whole time.
It's knowledge versus luck versus
Yeah.
strategy versus what we're calling endurance or mental fortitude.
Yes. Well, I think it's changed throughout the season. I would say, like, if you asked me between like episodes 1 and maybe 7, I would say like knowledge held a higher percentage. Probably
Okay.
like I would say, I don't know, 60%, because
Okay.
there's so many options
So many
on the
options.
floor,
Got
and
it.
you need to be able to have the knowledge.
Right.
And then I would say like, what's the other one? Luck would be like maybe, what did I say, 60? So let's say 20%, maybe, because there's lots of randomized. And then
Wow.
wait though, beginning, Luke, just give me a minute. No, I think
No,
yeah.
good. No,
Yeah.
stick with your guns.
Actually,
don't let Luke
no.
influence you.
Actually, let me flip this. I actually
Okay.
said it the other way around. Luck at the beginning, I said, should hold the highest.
Oh,
Where
okay.
I do, yes, luck should hold the highest. That's actually what I said. Because it is pure luck. Like when you
Earlier
get
on,
randomized,
you think it's
what part of the episode you get randomized? There is also so many options to pick. Okay. And then knowledge, I think, would hold like 20, because you have to be able to like win the category. And then I think mental fortitude at that point would be a little bit lower, like 10%, because we're all kind of in the same boat. We're all there. We don't, whatever. But now, ask me now, after episode 8 to the finale, I think those things get reversed. I think that knowledge would hold a higher percentage, because now there's limited categories.
fascinating.
There's limited categories now, so you do have to know. Your luck is not as, the only luck that plays a role here is maybe like getting randomized or selected earlier in the episode, right?
Right.
Like,
I would say that's a huge role, though.
yeah, but
Okay, that's
you have to
interesting. That's
know.
interesting.
It's
Yeah, go ahead.
well, it's tough. I was talking about this in the group chat. I talked about this a little bit last episode, but you're both lucky and unlucky to be one of the 10 of 16 people going into the finale have not played once. That is both lucky and unlucky.
Yeah.
It's lucky in that you have now really great shot having done nothing to win the big pot. But it's really unlucky in that your percentage of winning something is way down all of a sudden. Like,
Right.
if you think about it, all of us really are sitting at
Mhm.
like a 10% chance, episode to episode, roughly, of winning some money,
Yeah.
right? Just the law of big numbers, knowing, well, more like 12%, because there's on average 8 episodes, 100 of us starting, right? And that little bit being picked away every time. Now it's 1 in 16 shot at winning that pot, and you don't have any other pot to deal with. There's no other
Right.
money you can get. So that's the bad luck of it, is like, actually my odds are worse in winning something now all of a sudden.
And
So
I
it
also would rank mental fortitude up higher now
oh,
because I
absolutely.
mean, we have this saying, I'm a
More than
coach.
strategy.
Yeah, and I'm a coach. So
I
we have a
agree with
saying in
that.
our gym that is pressure is a privilege.
Yeah.
So like if you get put in a situation where it's like there's a lot of pressure, that's a privilege. So you have to have a good mental, like we call it our mental game, to be able to like score the last point or do whatever. And I feel like at this point we're so close to like the 250,000. Like your mental game has to be on par. And we've
And
all
you're
had,
exhausted. You've been filming for
yes.
so long. Yeah.
Yeah. So to be able to stand up there in like a high pressure situation is key. And not everybody can do that. Not everybody is put in those situations to be able to know how they're going to handle it. So
I agree. I will say though, I know everybody says like, oh, it depends on when you get randomized. I think our season has proven it doesn't matter. Good players, no matter where they get randomized, can win 20K. Like
fair.
literally, like Aaron was randomized. Aaron was randomized with 7
I
duels
think
left. Elizabeth was
Aaron is an
randomized with 4
outlier.
duels left. Elizabeth was randomized with 4 duels left. Come on.
I mean,
Then like you
that's
think Valerie was
two,
randomized at the end and she only played
a-
one duel. And
Correct.
as
Correct.
was Laz.
Correct.
As was
But
Laz.
correct. And that
As was I, basically.
that
Except
can
I'm
happen.
even luckier than Valerie and Laz. Yeah.
That can happen, but it doesn't necessarily mean. And there have been many other seasons where people who were randomized, they were the last one randomized, and they challenged the whale, they lost, and the
Mhm.
whale won. Like I'm saying, like you can win. It's not like, well, I can only win if I'm randomized at the end. No, I don't think that's true.
No.
No,
No, you
Um,
just have much higher liklikelihood.
you've proven that.
Yeah.
Well, you have
Fair.
a higher likelihood than people who aren't. But what I'm saying is knowledge play. That's why I think knowledge plays a factor in it, because yes, you have a higher likelihood, but if your knowledge isn't there, you'll lose too.
Yeah.
Well, I think towards the end of the
knowledge is
season, I
always
would
going to play a
say
factor.
definitely knowledge is higher because there's limited categories. So now you really do have to.
But that's also tough, because if you're a good studier, then suddenly it's also easier.
That's what I
It's
think.
just tough.
Fair.
But
Yeah, it's hard though. It is hard. Okay. And Brad, you totally could have talked this whole time, but let's get.
Brad,
No
before
worries.
I like Brad was just silently watching.
You guys are on one.
No, I know.
Brad,
Also-
do you remember that morning you and I talked to Jonathan or Jacob in only Beatles songs titles? Do you remember that?
Yes, I do remember that vaguely. That was a whirlwind experience. I was like not sleeping, so I
Right.
basically don't remember the later days. Like, it's weird. As the season's progressing, I'm forgetting how the duels went. Like the first episode,
Oh,
when it
yeah.
aired, I was like, okay, this is how it went. I remembered them perfectly. And then like the latest episode, obviously before I got out, I'm like, I don't remember much.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm always like, guys, we can't trust our memories. Like, we really can't. Like, let's be real. Like, when I was rewatching the Pez duel and the bride came up, I was like, first of all, I remember bride being. I actually thought it was easier than what I saw when it came up. I was like, that's even more ridiculous.
And goldfish.
And then I was like, oh, I thought I got sheriff first. And then at the end, I was like, no, I did get bride first. But I forgot everything. I didn't remember. Like when I was watching like ghost stories, I was like, the haunted mansion came up. I don't remember that. That's crazy. Anyway,
It was truly traumatic.
you're forgetting everything. Julie, thank you so much.
Yes, thanks for having me,
for
guys.
coming on.
Any parting words? Any parting wisdom?
Any
Yeah.
regrets, actually, real quick? Any regrets from the whole like experience?
I think there's too many what ifs to have a regret.
That's
Even
a
if
great
you
way
would
to
have
look at it.
made
Exactly.
a
Who
decision.
knows what would have happened?
Who knows what had happened? What if? So no, too many what ifs to have a
Regret is a
regret.
cul-de-sac.
So
Yeah.
true.
Yep. So
All right.
all
Well,
right.
thank you,
Cool.
Julie.
Yes,
Well, it was a
thanks.
pleasure.
Shout out to
Jules.
you, Julie.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Julie.
Bye, Julie.
All right. Brad,
And
thank
now
you.
we get to the most handsome contestant from New Mexico.
Oh, thank you.
The stash
Uh,
for me.
now, Brad, your original category was commodities.
That's
Wait,
correct.
and now is this a category that you chose?
No, not at all.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. How does one get commodities? How'd that happen?
Yeah.
So I'm an accountant, but I work for a ski resort, and I have a degree in accounting, but I've only worked for ski resorts my entire career. So
You were
I
like,
asked for
ski, please.
skiing. I asked for skiing, winter ski resort. I asked for indie rock, and I asked for like tiki drinks or tiki culture, something like that.
Okay.
Oh.
And then
That's
they
very
basically were like, your commodities. So when that first list came out, I literally looked through the list. I went right past commodities and I go, I'm the great outdoors. I literally live 200 steps from
Okay.
the chairlift. There was no point at which I've ever like stuck on my job being something that I like, that defines me.
Sure.
Of course, the ski resort portion I would say does, but not the accounting portion. It's just a means to an end.
Right.
But I just thought it was really interesting when I announced that was my category, or when I got that email or whatever. I was like, oh, interesting. So they didn't listen to me at all during the process. Was my thought.
Yeah. Come to know that you weren't you were far from the only one
Right.
who got stuck with some random category that I guess was loosely based on your job. However, when we got that little list of where we were on the floor, you were in what I call prime real estate.
Oh,
a
yeah.
literal corner. You only have two options, which does make it a little intimidating, but it sounds like you are into music and you had two music options next to you. How did you feel when you found out where you were on the floor?
I was really happy that I got the corner. You're right. In retrospect, I've definitely thought about the fact that I didn't have as many options when it came time to keep playing.
Right.
So that was something that obviously factored in, but also why would I leave that corner unless I knew I was going to win? The music options were good, except for the fact that as far as music goes, those are like probably the two, I guess country is also horrible for me, but I'm more like rock, EDM, like kind of like smaller indie bands and things
Yeah.
like that. Not obviously smaller, but like more obscure. And so rap's fine. I've been to, like I said, it wasn't aired, but I have been to a rap music festival, like in rappers. But Beatles songs was like horrible for me because I didn't grow up on the Beatles. Like
Gotcha.
I know we all like in 6th, 7th grade, 8th grade, they're like get obsessed with the Beatles, and that's all they listen to for like 3
The
years.
Bell.
Right.
I was
Bell.
not that kid. I was raised on like the Beach Boys and Pink Floyd, and like my parents never really were that into the Beatles, so it never really came to me. And
Okay.
when I listened to the Beatles, I was not that. Of course, I give them their flowers, but they're not like I don't stop at the Beatles and go, "This is the greatest music of all time." So
Fair enough.
I was really scared with Jacob, and I was like, he's going to know every single song. He's going to be one of
Right.
those kids that grew up with it. So there's no reason I would ever challenge him.
Right.
If I got selected, I was going to challenge Dash. So
Yeah.
I was ready for it from the moment.
Got it. And
You ended up dueling Dash in Commodities, which was a fairly exciting duel early
Yeah.
on in the season. Again, nerves were really
Second
high.
episode, right?
episode 2, right?
Yeah. Do you
I
want to
think
talk about
3.
the?
Oh, 3. Okay.
I think 3,
Oh,
because
it
I
might
think
have
we
been
made
three.
it.
Yeah.
It was the second day of filming, and
day.
I think it was like the second or third duel of the day.
Got it.
Yeah.
And so
It
you had
was
time to
early.
study that too. Then you had a good amount of time to study commodities.
Yeah, obviously we had it for like a week, didn't we?
Yeah.
That
Now,
ended
in
up being
that
a
in
lot
that
easier
duel,
than I thought it was going to be. I thought they were going to give us pictures of metal. So, like when the initial, I guess when during my duel, when I was winning at this point, and I looked over, and he had, what did he have? Like, I think he had a medal. I can't remember, but
Oh,
yeah, I don't
maybe
know. I
maybe
just
the
thought,
freaking uranium. I think.
oh
Is
yeah,
that one
yeah.
he got out
Well,
on?
that one was. I guess I thought that was easy because I
Right.
was like looking at precious metals, so I was like, oh, it has the hazard symbol.
Right.
It's uranium. Yeah, but I thought it was going to be like cobalt versus like nickel, or like
Jeez
So
Louise.
I was really worried about, I guess, how deep they would go.
Right.
But as we all learned, and I mean, I should have known this. It's not like I don't watch the show. They got to make it easy. Like, for example, Lisa Frank. I was like learning the names of the Lisa Frank
Max
characters.
Splash.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness, Brad. We were.
Yeah,
I
Lisa
was-
Frank is going to live in infamy.
I think to me, and of course I'm going to say this, but I think Lisa Frank and Pez dispensers were the worst. Like they're both things that was just like, it doesn't need to be the general thing. It could be the fun thing. Like,
Yeah.
like Lisa Frank is
Yeah, I get.
popular enough to do the
Yeah,
characters. Pez
yeah. Balance
dispensers,
it out.
there's a lot of fun stuff. Like it doesn't need to be freaking horse, dog, puppy. Come on.
I agree with that.
Yeah, because
and I think it makes the
you
game a
can.
little bit more difficult, but it also doesn't make it
does.
like out of reach, I would say.
Right.
Like, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Exactly.
So-
It
People
evens the
still
playing
watch
field.
Jeopardy. People watch Jeopardy and it's hard. It's
People
like,
do
yeah, I
watch
get that
Jeopardy.
this is easy. It's easy to play along, but like give the audience at home 5 duels to play along with and 3 duels that they're like, unless you know it, you're like, wow, that's interesting. That was hard, and I couldn't follow along with that one.
It
I
makes
mean,
it
that was my mom watching Hip Hop Stars anyway.
Right, exactly. And that's the thing. The thing that I like about the floor is that they have categories that one person's going to be so excited about, another person's going to be like, "Oh man, I'd never do that one." You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, I think that's what's fun. And then, sure, of course, a couple of the general categories, but like,
Well, yours was a great
Yeah.
example of that.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do podcasters because I thought they were going to put like podcasters up
Sure.
there that aren't famous. They basically just put
Exactly.
actors up there. Like, I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
Well,
I was like, I could have
exactly,
done
yeah.
that. I thought it was going to be like
Yeah,
the people that do
former-
true crime,
Yeah,
podcasts. And I
First
was like,
Lady
I don't know
Michelle
who
Oh, me
this
too,
such
Brad.
person is.
Yeah, I was like Georgia Hardstark. I was ready, man. I was
Yeah,
ready
bro.
for a very.
I wasn't going to touch
yeah.
that till I literally watched it while you're playing it. And I go, oh, I could do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we don't have
It
to
was-
talk about that duel. Actually, we can move on.
no, Serge, you don't want to
I
talk about
love, I know it's like a knife and everybody's like, man, that was so easy. I
That was
would have.
so
Oh
easy.
man,
Yeah.
Sergio out here getting one answer right.
Oh my god. That's.
Oh yeah,
Be Sergio.
Appreciate that, bro.
Sean
It's all
Hayes,
easy-
come
it's easy
on.
to say it's easy to say it's easy until you're
I
actually
know,
up
and
there doing it.
It's true.
ultimately, the thing is that and who knows, because we don't know what was later on in that deck. I also was, when I got that category, I was like, I hated it because I was for exactly the reasons that you were saying. But like when I was studying podcasters, there were so many people I didn't have to study because I knew all of these people already.
Sure.
Like all the like comedian celebrities that like are pretty popular, like all those people I knew. And then I was only studying what would probably be a couple of the random hard ones that they throw in of like podcasts that it's like, how would you know what the crime junkie? I don't know what Mel Robbins looks like or whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, so when you after you dueled and you went back to the floor, like was it always in your mind like I'm probably only going to play for the 250K? Like there's no real reason for me to ever try to go for 20.
At that point, because I only had options of leather, coffee, and Beatles.
Right.
And I mean, if I keep playing for leather, and in theory I win, I had like a couple others, but it was like Swampland, and I
Right.
can't remember exactly what they were. But I looked, and I'm like, do I really want to start this? Like,
Right.
truly, obviously I didn't get to the point where I had a time boost. I don't really think the time boost is that important personally. Like, I wouldn't have switched. I didn't feel that good. The only thing I thought about like maybe switching for was like car racing and just being like somebody doesn't want to play that. And so many people
is
wanted to
true.
play hip hop, which I didn't
Yeah.
really think about until I just was like went back down there and people's like, I'm coming for you. But a lot of those people didn't actually end up playing me.
Correct.
Exactly. You're one of them, Serge. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't really think that I would. I thought well, really, let's talk about it. Aaron really screwed everything up for us because from the moment he starts going forward, I'm exposed the entire time,
Yeah.
pretty much. So it was how many episodes? I think 4 or 5 episodes that I could have played at any point once the whale was up
Right.
there
Right.
or had a choice to play.
Yeah.
So I was always prepared, but I didn't really think that many people were going to challenge me. So that was the thought process. I didn't
So-
really think that. Yeah.
Here's my question for you. Because yes, and I'm imagining you're studying hip hop stars. One of the reasons I didn't challenge you was because obviously I thought Pez Spence was going to be pop culture. That's one of the biggest reasons. But the other reason was I was like, man, if I had gotten it earlier on, maybe, but I was like, man, Brad's had hip hop stars for a while. I bet that's all he's studying. and that's going to be tough, especially if I'm not studying it. Did
And he couldn't be
you?
randomized again, so he could really dive into hip hop stars only.
Right. Was that what you were doing? Were you
Yes.
studying
So
other
yeah, I get
categories?
what your question is, I guess now. And I have a little bit to give you based on that.
Yes.
Yes, I was just studying that. And I'll tell you further, once we went into break or whatever, like between the episodes, I started really realizing like, oh crap, like whoever is playing is just going to pick anyone. And I need to start studying other things in case somebody comes for me, because I
Correct.
realized that I had one of the last pop culture kind of categories that people want to play instead of like bones or
Correct.
paleontology. So I started actually before the episode I played on during lunch, I stopped studying only hip hop. Yeah, the prior days, I pretty much was like only going to study hip hop and I was going to go back. Or there was enough things that I felt pretty good about. Like I said, car racing or whatever it was. But I didn't feel like by the point that I started like that last episode that I knew anything. I didn't know enough things about the other categories, so I stopped studying entirely only hip hop. So you're correct. I think I would have played better at hip hop, even though I did play pretty well. I think I would have played even better if I was challenged in maybe like an episode or two prior.
Because you were so locked
Interesting.
in those early episodes.
Right.
That's
I was not locked in
interesting.
at lunchtime on hip hop. I was starting to be like, oh, if I get challenged, I gotta challenge like Swampland or Arctic, or so I started like trying to remember Arctic countries' flags and things like that. But the day
Right.
prior, I wasn't worried about that
Well,
at all.
I gotta say,
Did the-
you got slightly unlucky in the sense that I do think there were very few people who would have done better than Armand did in that duel, because
Yeah.
not only did he not pass, he was quick.
Quick.
He was
So fast.
lightning fast. Like he basically did not stumble. And I like watching him do hip hop stars is how I felt doing Disney animation, where I was like, I'm not gonna pass. And it was like, you did really well. Like Andrew did really well. It's just that like you just were up against somebody who was so well versed in it that like they eat and breathe it. And it's like, because I don't think you passed really either, right? You just
No, I didn't pass.
You didn't pass.
I
You
think
just
I got tripped up on like Ice Cube. I just couldn't remember his name for a
right.
second.
You stumbled
And
for a
then,
bit, yeah.
And then,
Which is so
right
funny,
at the
by the
end,
way.
I didn't say pass because I looked down at the time and it was 6 seconds, and I'm just like looking, and I
You're
lost.
like, all right, yeah.
I couldn't remember Flow Rider. Like I was like, I probably looked at him a few times during the study process, but it's like
Flow Rider, I would
who
have
knows?
never.
I mean, I don't
put
know
money.
what Flow Rider looks like. I know his songs.
I would have.
I was
never
gonna say, did
expected
you
to see
not?
Flow
Did you
Rider.
look in that duel, because they did show you the picture and the songs? How
They
much
did,
were?
but like Low
Yeah.
to me is not a
feels
memorable
like
enough
pop.
song title that I like
Oh,
jogged
okay.
my memory.
Got it.
Like
That also
it's
that
not-
just doesn't feel
it's-
like hip hop
to me, Low is a rap
Low,
song
low,
name.
low.
Well, of course I know the song.
Yeah, I know
I
you, I
went
know
to
you
middle
know it.
school dances in the early 2000s, but
Yeah.
I don't. It didn't. I don't know. It is
Well,
what it is.
Yeah.
You got some that I like, because I like hip hop, but I don't listen to a lot of trap music. I don't listen to a lot of the newer stuff. So like some of the newer artists, like when you got Migos, I was like, oh right. I was like, sorry, I don't know him right
So
now.
that was actually a little more helpful for me because I actually knew that stuff. I was studying like 80s, like New York kind of Tribe Called Quest or stuff like
right.
that.
That's the
And
stuff I wouldn't have to study.
And that's what I was more worried about because like I know some of those artists, but
Right.
I don't really know what they look like.
Sure.
So that's what I was really studying. So when it came up, I was just like, this is like rap again, like last season. And that honestly irked me that we had that category again. And then they didn't take my indie rock category because I was like, it would be so fun to do dumb band names like Arcade Fire. If they put Arcade up there, you should know Arcade Fire, in my opinion, if you want to play this a dumb trivia game like we're playing. So
Oh, you're like
I
fill in
don't
the blank band names?
I didn't know they could have done a lot of stuff. But
Yeah,
why are
yeah.
we doing the same exact category from the season prior? I was like, I was a little irked by it, honestly. Prior to me even playing it, like
Just seeing it on the
like,
list. Sorry.
just seeing it on the list because
Right.
I wanted indie rock or like something like.
I feel you. I feel you. It is interesting what categories they're, and I know that they're filming season 5 right after, and they're gonna film at least one other season, probably 2, like soon. And I know they have to pace out their categories, and sometimes things are going to be somewhat redundant, but I like I was rewatching season 2. I think it was season 2. They had constellations on that, and I was like, this is a super hard niche category.
Oh, yeah.
Like, why can't you have indie? Like, why did you allow constellations and not indie rock? Like, I don't know. Like,
Why didn't you draw the lines on the constellations?
I know they made
I mean,
they
look,
made
did they
constellations hard as hell.
Did they have like bodies of water one season?
Yeah,
That was like,
that was.
Yeah.
I think
no.
was that not
I
last
mean, like,
season?
That was season 3. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they had bodies of water and European geography. Like they have hard categories sometimes. So I don't know
Yeah.
why they don't allow some of the little like slightly more niche pop culture categories, which they're always going to be a good segment of people. Anyway, I'm sure they will eventually, but
I'm sure Jacob would have challenged me on that, for example. Like, he
right,
would
and that
love
would
to
have
do that.
that would have been that would have been fun.
Yeah.
That being said, Brad, you hip hop you were really good in, and I
You
think
were
you would have
really
beaten.
good.
I'm not upset about my
most
performance.
people-
And also, Armand told
yeah.
me that he asked for that category. Do you know that?
I think I did know that.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So he
Yeah.
asked during the process. So I'm like, oh, I literally lost to somebody who wanted to do that.
He wanted that category. Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
you would have beat 9 out of 10 challengers. It
I
just
agree.
happened that Armand was actually an expert in the category he got to challenge with you. Also, to your point about a time boost, yeah, it wouldn't have saved you. He still had 16 seconds left on the clock, and I just went back through every duel we've had so far. 5 have been 5 seconds or fewer. Everything else is more than 5 seconds. So in that regard,
Yes, I'll say the one thing I will say about the time boost, is that it does take your stress level down a little bit, especially if you're in a speed category. Like when I did phobias, even though technically I didn't need
Yes.
it if you like minus
Well,
my
that-
time or whatever, but like
psychological aspect.
Yeah.
psychologically, you feel like I can stumble and I don't have to worry. Like I have 5
Yeah.
seconds. Yeah.
I think it also affects the other person, but I'm just saying in
Yes.
reality, it wouldn't have changed the outcome.
Right.
So
Well, I
it
think
is
the
what it is.
statistic that Luke just said proves that, right? There's only been 5 duels that have made it
Yeah.
down to the 5-second mark, which means that's where a time boost would actually be effective. So
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
valid.
Now, Elizabeth would have loved to have one against Marcia in Pet Supplies with 3 seconds left. Yes, but
Yeah.
most of us, it's just Charlie beat me. He still had 9 seconds. If I had had a time boost, I still would have lost theoretically. So it's just like, it
Well,
is what it
Queen
is.
I
Elizabeth.
mean, John literally declined using a time boost. So
Well, yeah. I didn't want to do one of those duels where you have like 40 seconds left on the clock and you're like, why did I use this time boost? Queen Elizabeth
Why?
would have liked it with dueling Kelsey, right?
Kelsey,
She only lost.
yeah. She
Uh,
lost.
also
Yeah, Kelsey
Christina
had 2 seconds
dueling
left.
Kelsey.
Or 3 seconds.
yeah. Yeah, you're right. That was yeah. Anyway, so
Kelsey still had 14 on Christina.
I do want to know,
Uh,
Brad, had you have won, because you had just switched your strategies to start prepping for honestly this exact situation. So I don't think it was a bad strategy. So had you have beaten Armand and took over the whale, what was going to be your move? Because then you would have inherited home organization.
Yeah, and I would have kept playing, obviously. I mean,
Yeah.
at that point, you got to keep playing. And I think I was probably going to do sportscasters next.
Was that what you were studying?
Okay.
I started studying a lot of things. I started studying I was studying state flowers for a while, so I was feeling pretty good about that one.
Yeah, you could have done
I mean,
that.
I think the main one I was going to do before the episode was definitely the state nicknames. I was like shocked that wasn't taken way earlier. I was like,
Correct.
this
We
is
were
so
all
easy.
shocked. We were
This is
all
so
shocked.
easy. I
It's
couldn't
my
believe
it's
that
my
people-
biggest regret.
Okay, I haven't been listening to
It's
this podcast. I'm not gonna lie, guys.
my biggest regret is not dueling
That's
state
road, Brad.
nicknames first.
Yeah, I feel like that was like the best one. Everyone knows, like, I don't know.
100%. You're
I'm a road trip
100%.
guy. I live in the
Any-
West.
Anybody who studies would have learned you at your worst 40 of the 50. Like
Right.
The other thing is, like, I wanted it when I thought it was harder than it was. When I
Yeah.
thought we were having to say the nickname to the state name, and I still
I
wanted
mean,
it.
yeah, and the fact that they put like little hints on there, like
Oh
for
my
show me
God.
state, and then
They
freaking
show
put
the
gateway to
art.
West. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah. They
come
showed,
on.
yeah,
You're
they
making this
showed
like,
Statue
I
of
was like,
Liberty. Like,
wow.
yeah, it was so easy. Yeah, fifth graders could take that category, and it's like,
yeah, they'd probably be better
oh,
than us because that's what they actually study. But
Right.
that's true. That's
yeah,
true.
I mean, I
So
think
yeah,
what else was on there?
flowers.
I honestly haven't even thought about it that much.
Okay.
Definitely probably in the
Well,
corners.
Beatles songs, but you were never gonna do that,
I
I
didn't
guess.
feel that confident that I was going to beat him in that. And I didn't feel that confident that I beat Tim in Sportscasters, but I at least felt like if it was me and Tim, I was like, he's at my table. Like, there's a chance. Like,
There was also
I could win. But
Wild West and
oh,
Swamplands.
that's probably one I would have actually done. Wild
Yeah.
West. I've lived in the
Wild
Southwest for the last 10, 15 years. Like, I
Well,
go to these little towns and
Right.
I know the history. My dad was obsessed with cowboys and pretty much
yeah.
the expansion west and all that.
You
So
live in a little Wild West town. Taos,
that is
Taos is
correct.
not a
Yeah.
bustling metropolis. So
No,
yeah.
no, and I've definitely vacationed at a lot of other little well-known, like my
I mean, yeah,
parents.
you go to
They're
Red
all in the
River,
motorcycle
boom.
industry, and I've been to Deadwood like a ton in South Dakota, so I know all the
Yeah.
stories of like Wild
Okay.
Bill Hickok and all that stuff. So actually, that was one of the ones that I probably would have. You're just kind of like. When I was selected, I was like, oh, it wasn't until Julie. I actually need to give her some crap about this. I was like, oh, as soon as Julie called Armand, I was like, if she doesn't win, I'm going. Like, actually, in the break, I
Oh,
literally walked up to
wow.
Armand and I'm like, you're choosing me, right? Like, you would be an obvious choice. Like, I figure that you listen to rap music. I was actually shocked Marcus didn't choose me. That was the most shocking experience of the whole entire. I was jumping up and down, like at
Brad.
least give me a chance to beat you for 20K. And
Exactly.
Brad,
and he goes, what did he actually? Oh, he just went back down,
went
right?
back to the
Yeah.
floor. He
Yeah.
made the. I will stand by this.
The worst
He's
decision
fun.
in floor history.
Cool, awesome man. The worst decision in floor history. It made zero sense. Knowing what we know now, that he knew nothing about luxury car brands and that he was touching literally every single category on the floor.
He could have had the pick of the litter. And even if you say, well, there's not that many categories left, there's still what, 16? 16.
Well, it's
he
the
could have
same
picked
thing that
from.
happens at the end of this episode, which, okay, and then we have to give, and we're skipping ahead, and we'll come back to the other duel, but like Rob says, like Matt's like, I'm gonna go back to the floor, and Rob says, okay, hold on, literally everything's touching Sue. So you telling me you're going back to the floor means that out of every single category that is left, you think the best chance you have out of every single category is left is home organization. And that's exactly what Marquise did. It was like, you think that out of all these categories that are left, the one that you know the most that you could beat anybody in is luxury car brands? That's what you're telling me?
Do you guys know what Marcus
Yeah.
does for a living? Do any of
No.
Yes.
he works for a radio station. He does their he does their social media. So this man knows so
He
many
actually
musicians.
messaged me like, I don't know, yesterday or the day before after the last episode. He said, I definitely should have done that. I'm like, yeah, you probably would have beat me. Like,
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
and speaking of definitely should have, Matt said the same thing. I texted him because I was like, Matt, I have to know. What would you have challenged? And he was like, Bones. I should have challenged Bones. Josh inherited it, and 100% I regret it every day. I was like, oh, so tough.
I mean, that is what it is.
It is what it is. That's when strategy, like, to me, like that's why
That's the
strategy is a part
strategy.
of it, because that's like,
That's the very
come on,
important
that's
whatever
poor
10% that strategy makes
Yeah.
up is it comes in. The other thing, I do the same thing. I'm like, why I had multiple categories I had studied now touching me, but I just didn't. I was planning on not having that whale. I thought if I got touched again, it would be like I'm still bordering sense, right? Like that's why I challenged Charlie in a category I had not studied because I wanted presidents so bad. I wanted state nicknames and state flowers so
Right.
bad. I wanted to do all those things, but I thought I was going to go through Charlie first. Looking back, God, I wish I had challenged Bob in action films. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What about you, Brad? Was there any like immediate regrets, like after you finished filming, like were you just like, man, maybe I should have stayed and played the first time, maybe anything like that? Maybe study hip hop a little bit more towards the end?
Sounds like you studied it a
No,
lot.
not really.
Well,
It
the
is
thing
what
was
it
is
is. But My only regret is that I didn't have more time in Ireland. I had this like big concert I was going to at Red Rocks that had tickets for like 8 months, and this band does not play. They were like, it was another one of these little indie bands that I'm like, they don't play, or at least they don't play this album. So I wanted to stay for like a week longer, but I ended up just staying for one day, and then my flight got delayed. That was my biggest regret, that I couldn't have stayed longer. Like, I
No,
enjoyed it. I actually think I made the right decision. Maybe I'm a bad player, but when you said,
no, no,
Jonathan,
no,
that
no,
like
no, no,
any
no,
good
no.
player could just go and win 7 duels, I'm like, I think there's a lot of luck with that. Honestly, like half the people that Aaron beat didn't know what the hell they were doing.
For sure.
Like
That's
I'm like, it's
very
like shoes,
accurate.
and maybe he knew that. I'm not sure. He never talked to me, so I don't know how much intel he had on me, and that's maybe why he didn't challenge me, because he could have challenged me. But I,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
no,
To me, I was
it's
like, there's no way I'm going, for example, on my first duel, gonna beat 7 people.
I
Like,
think
no.
I think he didn't know as much as he said, but he did know enough. Like he
He did.
knew he's not stupid. Obviously, we all knew. He
Oh,
knew
no, that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah, no. I'm
I'm
just
saying
saying.
the other people like didn't know the
Well,
category, I
that's
think,
what
as
I'm.
well.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like like he knew there were a few of those people not studying. He
They
knew
were
that.
weak.
Like
They were weaker.
he knew there were people who just were not like sitting down and looking at their computer
and
during the
studying.
breaks. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
he was studying. And I do think
yeah.
like, and that's my knowledge thing. Knowledge to me encapsulates your study component. And I think that like there are people like Johnny Fairplay who say like, it doesn't matter if you study or not.
Why are you studying?
You
Yeah,
know
it's
what
like,
you know. And I'm like, that's not true though.
no,
Like,
that's not true. If I hadn't studied at all, Kelsey would have beat me in judges. I didn't know any of those people. I don't watch any of those shows. I knew like 3 of those people by face before this, and then I won with what, like 12
right.
correct clues. Like that was study. That was completely study.
Well, I didn't
No,
win,
Brad.
Mike. I didn't win hip hop, but I will say that all the studying out of hip hop I did, I probably knew all of those people. The only person that probably jogged my memory was like Lauren Hill. If Lauren Hill had come up and I didn't study at all, but otherwise I knew every single one of those people just from being an American
Yeah, that's
and paying
tough.
attention to pop culture.
I do
So
think
Yeah.
though,
I don't know.
I will say I do think the jogging of your memory helps tremendously, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I will say the
It's like
same
a
thing about
refresher course.
exactly. I will say the same thing about Disney animation. Like if I sat down and be like, yeah, there was not a single film that I got that I hadn't heard of or seen or like knew of beforehand, but when I'm sitting down and it's all there, it's all quick access memory so that when I see it, I can immediately say it as opposed to going, what is that again? Oh, that's what? And that's what you can't have in these duels because they're
Yeah.
Yeah.
so yeah, anyway.
Well, you know, it was actually funny with that duel. My wife was just saying, like, on the TV, it's like such a small
Yeah,
poster.
man.
Did you feel like it was like that when you played?
100%. I knew
Okay.
I was
I
prepped.
couldn't remember.
I was prepped for it. I was like, because you know what? Here's the thing. I wasn't prepped for it the entire time. I think it was like the second day or like the beginning of the third day that I was like looking at the prompt again. And then I realized like, oh, it said poster. And I was like, oh God. I was like, I got to start looking at some of these posters. And that's when I started looking at posters just so that I could be mentally ready for it because there were a couple of those posters when the poster first comes up on screen, like Sleeping Beauty. I was like, what what are you looking at?
Right.
So yeah, it made it harder. It made it harder for sure.
Definitely.
One thing, Brad, I'll say before Serge gives you your flowers, you're talking about like what you could have done differently or whatever. There's literally nothing. You played exactly. This is where I feel like it's luck again. And like you played perfectly because you did study after you won your category. You successfully defended yours, so you studied that well. Then you study hip hop stars, and you got bad luck in playing somebody that I don't think anybody on maybe Dash, but otherwise, I don't think anybody.
Dash.
Nobody's beating Armand in that. Like that was crazy. Like that was one of the strongest single duel performances we've seen this season.
Absolutely.
What were you supposed to do? There was never a way that you were going to beat him. That's just all there is to it. So you, if anybody can sleep well, having gone to the show and then feeling X way afterwards, you should sleep like a baby because What were you
I do
supposed to
sleep
do?
like a baby. Thank you very much, but I do sleep like a baby. I've said multiple
Good,
times.
good, good.
Hey, we just got a free trip to Ireland. Like, I'm
That's
cool.
true.
Like, this is
Yeah,
I'm
good,
chill. So
good, good, good.
I'm not thinking about it much, and I'm just glad to see. I'm excited to see who wins. I had no idea. I like was
Yeah, none of
adamant
us
Yeah.
about
do. Yeah,
do not tell me.
yeah.
So I'm pretty excited. I feel fine. Thank you.
Should we talk about? Wait, why don't you stick around and talk about these other duels? So Armand goes on, chooses Matt for exercise moves. He was going to get 3. I think he said on Kurt's Instagram he was going for the time boost. That he felt like okay enough about home organization, and so he was going to get a time boost. And he's somebody who works out, so he chooses Matt. I was a little surprised just because I was intimidated by Matt in that category.
It seems like he didn't actually talk to Matt, because if you talk to Matt, at least I didn't really talk to Matt much, but he told me something that I thought to myself, I'm not challenging you in this, which was, oh, all I have to do is see the motion and I can rattle off like 5 different, like if there's a barbell on the floor, it's either going to be like a clean or whatever, like a overhead lift or something. And he just like names them all. I'm like, oh, I'm not challenging you in this.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I thought that was like, as well as he played hip hop and obviously had a plan, that was the worst person to challenge, in my opinion, if he wanted to keep playing.
I agree.
But
The only reason that was even close was just Matt clearly having some anxiety about being back up there. Because if Matt was cool, calm, and collected through that duel, it would have been another one of the most dominant wins.
Right. He winds up
win.
passing on jump squat, I think, and that was
jump squats.
Yeah, that was a classic. I'm way ahead. I know I'm way ahead.
Right. Why? Correct.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and Armand gets tripped up on rowing and elliptical, and I think he did say on Kurt's podcast he hadn't really talked to Matt, and he said that he hadn't really studied exercise. He said he hadn't studied hip hop stars and he hadn't studied exercise moves. I know he had 2 breaks, one lunch break and 1 dinner break to study Mattel toys, and that's it. But I'm pretty sure that whole time that's what he was doing with those breaks, and it showed because he won that duel pretty handily too. There was 16 seconds left for that. He beat you with 9 seconds left. And then, Matt wins with 15. I don't know what else. I'm interested to know what else he would have. I forgot if he said on Kurt's podcast what else he would have done. But and then Matt like is so pumped. Has that huge celebration, which I thought was really funny. And then, he goes back to the
But
floor.
I mean, like I've already said, he regrets it 100%. He should have played Bones. He knows he should have played Bones.
Yeah.
Josh was really fast in playing cards, and he's surely been studying.
He definitely has.
Josh's wife was also in Ireland, so he had a study buddy built in, which was super helpful for him. But still, we'll never know. We'll never know who wins that.
We'll never know
Josh.
until if we get to see Josh play Bones, we'll see how well he does in it. There's a possibility he doesn't get a chance to do it because he could be randomized. But let's see, Valerie beat. But it's interesting. Like I think Matt thought he was going to do a lot better than he did on. Like even if he was going to lose, I don't think he saw himself doing this poorly on home organization because he loses with 36 seconds left. Valerie basically.
Wow.
I don't know how many they each got right. I forgot, but like it couldn't have been too many. And also, I think Matt, and to be fair to him, like shower, they were very specific about shower caddy, and they weren't that specific about the weight rack.
Weight rack.
I think she said weight. I think she said weight holder.
Yeah, she said weight holder. Yeah, I also had some beef with that. Where it's the constant thing of pick one. Either be super lenient on everything and give people stuff like vanilla wafers, or be super intense, be dictators about every answer. That's the way I think it really should be.
I think it should be. So I actually am okay with them having different ways that they judge per the category. I want the consistency to be within the category. I think because I was going to say the first name. I think it is okay, and it's typical of trivia shows to allow first names of fictional characters, but for the real people, you have to say the last name. Like those are different rules, but there's a reason why. But like in somebody's own category, if somebody says something that's like the thing, and you don't give it to them, then how do you give it to somebody else who also says something that's like the thing, but not the specific? Like that doesn't make any sense. They did that, and they've done that a few times. I think they did that in Variety Acts too. Like that is the stuff that you're just like, I don't
Yeah.
understand
Want
that.
Yeah,
consistency.
if
We want
this is a
consistency.
lenient category, be lenient across the board.
Right.
And when Matt says shower, what did he say?
Holder,
Shower
Holder,
toiletry
I think.
holder.
Yeah.
toiletry holder.
Shower toiletry holder. And you're not going to give him shower caddy, but then she says weight holder, and you don't give her.
Yeah,
and
you give her
give
weight
I thought
rack.
the
weight rack.
term was the same.
Yeah.
Is
It's
Yeah.
it's like you both use the word holder. That's
It's the
whack.
exact. Yeah, that's true too. That's wild.
So this conversation is jogging my memory, and we didn't talk about the most interesting thing that actually happened to me. The fact that they didn't take my gold or gold bars. It was like they
So
were
I
asleep
was
at
going
the
to talk
wheel.
about that.
Oh,
We
yeah?
did
It's
talk
right here,
about
Mike.
that in our
Okay.
third episode. You just weren't
Okay.
here for it. But yeah, when you said gold, 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 and then they finally cut it and then they reset, I remember thinking to myself, I was like, if Brad loses this to Dash right now, he should absolutely sue the fans up. Just be like, no, you guys completely screwed me. We'll never know what would have happened if you hadn't given me gold. Thankfully, you still won. I was really anxious for you.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
ridiculous.
I definitely waited on that first one that came back. It was like wheat or something, but I'm watching it live. It's like it makes it look like I don't know what wheat is for like 5 seconds, but they definitely just like overlaid it in a way that made it look like I was like it was like 10
Editing.
seconds. But they didn't
Yeah.
like even start my time until yeah, I don't know. It was interesting, but I'm glad you guys talked about it because it was like I think they were just asleep at the wheel. I'm like standing up there saying gold for like 5 seconds.
When the clock is for the audience at home, it's not a true clock when they have to make edits like that. Like when they cut to Rob, if you count and you see 42, they cut to Rob because somebody said the F word or something, and then you count da da da, and then you come back and now it's at 33 seconds. It's like, wait, 9 seconds didn't just pass. But they bank on the audience at home not catching that, and they don't catch it. It's just
Yeah.
Yeah.
I picked
All
up
right.
on that stuff for sure. But yeah,
So, and then I just want to talk end game here. Can we talk about this with Brad? Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So, and Brad, you don't know what happens. I have no idea. I've told people I don't want to know. Here's the thing. This is the first time they've ever done a 2-hour finale where nobody wins 20K, because I guess they just basically were like, because we had the 40K in the first episode, we still want to give out the same amount of money. So
shout out to you, Fox. Shout out to you.
And as Luke mentioned in our WhatsApp chat, I believe you said 10 of the 16.
10 of the 16
haven't
have
even
not
played
dueled.
yet.
Yeah, haven't played once.
Which is wild. So talk about luck. And we're not saying that these aren't good players. That has nothing to do with it. It's just the idea that, like, for whatever reason, a bunch of different circumstances have led to 10 of the people. Now, some of that is the category for sure.
And the person, intimidation factor. There's a lot of factors to
For
kind
sure.
of consider.
But it's also
It's true.
But the luck part is that they have not been randomized, right?
Yes.
So biology,
Sort of luck. Once again,
you know.
also bad luck.
Yes,
Like,
and it could
because if none
it
of
could be
those
good or
10
bad.
win, if none of those 10 win the 250, that's the worst luck.
Correct.
They never had a shot.
They
to
never
play
had a
for
chance.
the 20
Right.
ever. Like it's brutal. So
Yeah.
But if one of the 10 of those people wins, amazing luck. That's amazing luck. So
Right.
yeah, it's
interesting.
really hard to say
So
right
here's the thing that I want to point out that I noticed with this, because Valerie wins. She's got 20K. She's in the middle. She's got her own category. It's hard. Part of me is like, she needs to keep dueling. There's another part of me that's like, well, I understand why you wouldn't keep dueling, because you have your own category, and this night you're gonna have to duel a whole bunch. Yeah. Here's the thing: there are a bunch of we still got Tim with Sportscasters who's on an island, right? There's no reason to duel him. There's just no reason to pick him. Like, everybody, I think, should allow him to be forced into the whale. If he could win, then he's in a great position. But he has such a disadvantage because since he's been an island, the whale has changed times so many times. Like, it's insane. I think in this past episode, it changed times like four
Like
or five.
three or four times.
Let's
Yeah.
see. Yeah, Laz started out with it, and then Nikki became the whale, and then Julie, and then
and then
Armand, and then Matt, and then
and now
Valerie. So you also have this group of three: biology, dental office, and swamplands. I'm assuming if any of those people get randomized, they're going to duel each other. They're going to do a one, and they're going to go back because there's going to be a second randomizer. The people, right? And so and Courtney and no, Courtney's on an island.
Courtney and Clara are together.
Oh no, Courtney and Clara are together. Sorry, Courtney and Clara are together.
As are Austin and Sydney.
So they're praying. All those people are praying. I hope I don't get randomized. I want the other person to get randomized. They have to play my category. I take their category and I go back to the floor.
Yep, absolutely. They're all praying for that.
It's this weird thing where I'm like, Valerie, the reason that I'm like, in most times I would be like, get your time boost, but there's a part of me that's like, you're gonna have plenty of chances to play. Why not just go back? Because I think a lot of the people who are randomized, except for the ones who have to play you, are going to just play the one and go. Like they're not going to want to play the whale either.
I agree. Yeah, it's weird because it's one episode difference. But for me, I'm like, Laz, why did you not play 3? You have to play 3. You're trying to get another 20, my guy. Like you could do it to get the time boost. But now it's like the time boost, once again, as we've talked about, is not really going to do that much because some people are going to play you regardless. It's like when Tim gets randomized as an island, do you just burn it right then? And then maybe he knows nothing about White House. You have no idea. The only way I would say stay and play is if you're a psycho like me and your goal is to keep offensively category swapping and trying to just clean the board. If you think you can beat 15 people, just do it that way.
Well, Luke, I think your game plan is good after she loses her category. So I would say it's like, because I imagine if Kirk gets randomized, he's been next to Rick the whole time. He's dueling Rick first, period. And then he's on an island too. So like, it doesn't really make sense for him to keep going. So he goes back, right? All these people, like, she's really is Tim the only island now?
Yes.
Courtney's an island.
No, wait, we said Courtney's next to Clara.
Wait, is Jacob an island now?
Oh, sorry. Oh, I meant is Tim the only island who can be randomized?
Okay.
Yes.
In the first randomizer. I think that is true, which means that...
No, Jeremy as well.
Jeremy, yep.
Oh, Jeremy with Roman numerals. Okay, so there's 2 people. So play your chances. You go back to the floor, play your chances. Those people are going to have to duel you. You win, and then you can maybe make your move.
It's 20%. There's a 20% chance that one of those islands immediately lights up. Boom, you're back.
Right. It's tough. So here's the other thing. In the second randomizer, right? Jacob, island. Molly, island. Whoever wins between Courtney and Clara, assuming that a whale doesn't pick them off first, they're going to be an island.
And Kurt, same situation.
Whoever wins between them, assuming they don't get picked off first, they're going to be an island, right? Like these people have an even less chance of winning the 250K because you have to, in the second randomizer, play the whale. You just have to play the whale, and then now you're in the middle, and you're the one who has to keep doing all these duels. The person...
It's going to keep changing. The category is going to keep changing. You have to go into this knowing every category. If not every category, you need to know 10 categories at least. Like you have to study so much in this last one. It is very finite.
Go ahead.
There last night, and that's what everyone did. They were bed very fast compared to previous nights.
Right. What are you saying, Sergio?
So in regards to like the finale, I think one thing we all got to consider is there is no more 20,000 prize for the winner.
Right.
So I do think once you become a whale, it's not as...
It's nothing. It's both good and bad. It's good in that because you can reach out and touch out. It's like I can play whatever I want.
Options.
But it is also very bad.
Okay.
Because if you're going back, you know that anybody could be playing. It's not Courtney saying, "Well, I'm going to probably play Clara." It's everybody.
That being said, Luke, here's the other thing that's so hard about this that I'm like, unless, like, the only reason I don't even know, like, you have to go, okay, if I do go 3, like, are there 2 categories I feel so confident I can win in? Then I could category switch. And when I do that category switch, I have to play the person who I switch with immediately, or maybe,
Exactly.
yeah, immediately, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
you want to just
You,
eliminate
you're
them.
Yeah, no, your target, you have to constantly say to yourself, all right, I'm not great at sportscasters. I'm probably better at sportscasters than Courtney. I'm not great at car racing. I'm probably better at car racing than Molly. I'm not great at paleontology. I'm probably better at paleontology than Jacob. It's like you have to find these people, and then even then, there's 2 every time. You just got to play them in their own category,
Well,
and then
the one caveat I was going to throw in is the whale also has the option of always going back to the floor, because that means your category can keep getting switched, so nobody else can be prepared for what you have to play, and you won't really be prepared either. But at least you'll never have to play an expert in their own category. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So like
yeah.
that's what I was going to say. Like, I would save that 1, 2, 3 thing, like, for taking out the person you feel like they know the most. Like, and I can catch them off guard. But everybody else, I'm just going to be like, yeah, maybe I don't know paleontology,
Yeah.
but I definitely am not going to beat Molly in it, but maybe I can beat somebody else in it. Like, we're all in the same boat here.
The thing for me is I'm like so one of the things that sparked debate in our group chat was like people were like, you're calling us lucky, but we were the intimidating people. And I truly believe of the 16 people left, like everyone's intimidating. Like that's like the 10 that haven't played. It's like Bailey works in a dentist's office. That's why she's still there. Nicole has biology. No one knows it. Kurt has geometry. He made his own app. Jez, super intimidating presence. Courtney, maybe not as intimidating when she had Harry Potter. Now she has car racing and she used to race cars. Clara, state flowers. Yes, it's finite. That woman knows those flowers, though. It's like everybody that's left is really intimidating. And so that's for my thinking. I'm like, man, I'd go out swinging. I would never go back to the floor. But once again, we already saw me do that. So
Yeah, I do think that I think it might even be a better strategy to keep going back to the floor as your category switches, and going like, I'm just gonna press my luck and see if I know some other category better than somebody else, because I have more of a chance in beating this person in biology than Nicole in biology.
It also definitely depends on how good you feel about
general
that
knowledge
category.
Yeah.
Because if I was say I was Valerie, I go back to the floor with Whitehouse. Nicole gets randomized. For some reason, she challenges me. Now I have biology. I know nothing about science. I would absolutely have to keep playing and just like
Right.
throw that somewhere
that's
else. Because
fair.
I'm like, if there's 14 people that aren't me, 12 of them are beating me in biology.
Right.
But otherwise, I see what you're saying, absolutely. Because it's like, I could end up with sportscasters. Molly gets randomized as the island. Molly watches college football. I watch college football, even playing field. Let's go. Yeah.
So
it's going to be crazy.
I do think the person who clearly just like hands down, like there's no question, who is in absolutely the best position is Ashley. Because we know
Not even a question.
it's just like Ashley has a hard category. She's got a 5-second time boost. She's had time to study that. She's had time to study bones. So, and I'm sure Josh is studying ancient Greece and she's studying bones. They're both studying each other's categories and their own categories. Whoever wins that, like, but if Ashley's able, and I don't know if she's going to do
But that don't matter, John, because neither one of them can be randomized. So she's got buffers.
Well, until the
Not
second
first.
randomizer.
Until the second randomizer.
But
Well,
yes,
we still got 10 people.
Correct.
Yeah.
So a bunch of people are going to get eliminated first. Then the second randomizer goes. Even if she gets unlucky and is randomized early on, she just gets to play Josh, or Josh gets to play her. She can use her time boost. Maybe she doesn't. Like, I honestly, if I was playing for 250K and I was her, I understand that you're like, well, I have to win the duel. But I would rather not use my time boost on a duel where, well, I guess you can't hold it to the end though. So if she's at the end,
you can't use it in the last
one. So then,
three,
then you got to use it immediately.
So if I was Ashley, second randomizer hits me, I challenge Josh and Bones. I'm using that 5 seconds because it's neither of their
what if
original
Josh
category.
challenges
They've both been
you?
studying it.
What if Josh has
if
to challenge
Josh
you?
Challenges her in ancient Greece, that's a category she was dying for. I would imagine she doesn't use it.
Right, and holds
Depending
on
on
to
when
it.
if it's like the duel right before the final, then of course she has to use it.
Then
But
yeah, that's true too. It depends on when this happens. We could go so far into the
We
weeds
could
with
go
all
so
of these
far.
people.
I just it's so it will take. Okay, I guess here's the last thing I'll say though about it. If she doesn't use her time boost, to me that's buying, and I understand now you're wasting it because you won't get to use it ever again, perhaps, but it's almost buying you a ticket to the end. Like if I have my time boost, I don't use it, I beat Josh in Bones, or I beat him in Ancient Greece. I don't use my time boost. Now I have a time boost. There's not a single person who's the whale who's ever going to go after you with a time boost.
Yeah.
They're like, well, I
Yeah.
might as well just let me play Ashley at the end.
yeah.
And so
No,
there's
exactly.
a part of, and then so to me,
Yeah.
she's literally the only person on this map who can say there's only 3 categories I need to study that I know I'm going to have to play no matter what. Ancient Greece, Bones, and the tiebreaker that we don't know, that we know, but the audience doesn't know, so we won't say it. But it's like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just study those 3, and I'm studying them like hell. Like those are the only
Yeah.
3 categories I have to study. Everybody else, like Molly's in a we know Molly's in a great spot, but she's on an island,
Kind
and
of.
she's gonna. So if she gets
Yeah.
randomized early on, like her and Jacob, it's the same thing. If they get randomized early on,
Yeah, they're both in a good spot to survive the first round of randomizers,
Yeah.
and then suddenly in a terrible spot to
Yeah.
because one of them's gonna end up playing something they just clearly don't want to play. That's more likely than not. We don't
Right.
know that. I don't know that, but
And real
that's
quick to your point, John, with the whole time boost and Ashley, even if she doesn't use it, I think it's fair to say that she's already utilized it to a very high level.
I agree.
Because
I
yeah, I mean,
agree.
yeah, absolutely.
no
It's
one's
it's
challenged
it's
her.
worth it, right? It's worth it as that deterrent, and maybe to Brad's point of the time boost not really mattering in most duels anyway. It's perhaps even more valuable as a deterrent than it is as an actual
To
game.
actually use it. That's
I
very
agree
true.
with that.
Damn.
It psychs people out, but I don't think it actually matters at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I completely
So
agree.
if it
Well, it
keeps-
matters
if
in
it
the sense
keeps them
that it'll
away from
deter
you,
people. Yeah.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
it keeps
then
them
it
away
is
from you and
important,
it gets
for
you in the
sure.
final, then Ashley's strategy of getting that time boost was
I will
clutch.
argue this though, on your point talking about Ashley. It's not the time boost that is keeping people away from Ashley. It's the category.
It doesn't hurt though.
If she
It doesn't
had
hurt though.
if she had
Yeah.
country music, she would have been challenged.
It's true. It's true.
That's
But
true.
yeah, she's
The
got ancient
category,
Greece. It's hard category, and it's
the
a hard
category.
category that she is
People don't want to do
confident
that.
in.
That's why we have
Well-
paleontology, biology, Arctic, swamplands. It's all like science
Yeah.
and
I know.
geography.
I know. I mean,
Nobody wants to
truly,
do that.
like, other than Beatles songs, like, these are all really intimidating categories. Even though we know dental office is going to be a speed category, and we know state flowers
I don't know
is
if
finite.
I don't know if I would consider Wild West or
That's true. Wild West. Wild West is an outlier, but
And
it's like
it's interesting. I do think Jez is intimidating.
It's because
I don't know
Jez
if
has
Swamp. I was like Swamplands is not that intimidating to me. I feel like there's
yeah,
There's
it's
not that many
that's
creatures
true.
in a
So I'll
swamp.
say 16 categories remain. 11 of them are intimidating.
yeah. Yes, and to it's interesting because it depends on the thing. Roman numerals was never intimidating in the terms of like I'm not going to know it. It was intimidating in the sense that it's a speed category and everybody has to do math and you're all tired and you're like,
Yeah,
what if I
exactly.
just like blank? I see like MMCCXL and then you're
Yeah.
like, what? You have to do the math
Oh,
in
yeah.
your head.
Yeah,
That one feels like a 50-50, right?
Yeah.
You know?
yeah,
Let's say it was
absolutely,
that.
absolutely. All right, well, it's going to be
2024.
I think we're all calling it now. This is going to be the best finale this show's seen. It's going to be
It's going to be
absolutely
crazy.
bonkers.
I
That
can't
whale, yeah.
I
Without
can't
doubt.
wait. It's going to be so much fun.
I'm really excited to just see how the strategy plays out for everybody involved because everybody's got their own strategy at this point. So I'm excited to see that. If you guys don't mind, I'd like to give Brad here his little bouquet.
Oh, yes,
If you guys
please.
don't mind. Listen, man, I got a couple things written down, but the first thing I had written down was the deferred duel in Commodity. You defended it well. A lot of people don't understand that there was discrepancies to it. It was early on in filming. Production was having a lot of issues, and that can really take a toll on you, man. That can really throw you off your mode. You stayed locked in. You had so many things against you in that first duel, man, like having to reset, having to take a 10, 15-minute break, having to regather your thoughts, reassess the whole situation. That's not easy, man, especially because nerves are high. It's your first duel. The fact that you made it past that is impressive alone. Your second duel, man, I think we've touched on it a lot, man. It was incredible, dude. You killed hip hop stars. You really did. You went up against, to Luke's point, so the one man I think that would have taken anybody down. This man had the whole culture behind him, bro. He wasn't gonna lose that, my guy. You know what I mean? Like there was just too much there. But you held your own, man. And to my surprise, I'll admit, I was like, I want to come after Brad. I don't think he's well versed in it. And you made me eat my words. And I have no problem admitting that you proved me wrong, man. You went out there, you smashed it. You look good. We all know you're handsome. Probably the most handsome one here. Definitely the most handsome from New Mexico. But you look good on camera, my guy. You handled yourself well. You played the strategy really well. The hands you were dealt, you played them well. A lot of people don't consider the corner. Everybody thinks, oh, the corner, you're in a prime position. But there's a lot of nuances, man, that kind of mess with you. Your options are limited. You feel like you're a bigger target because of the corner piece. So you handled all that well. And I think at the end of the day, you should be proud of your performance. I mean, it was real fun to watch you, man. So I appreciate everything you gave us. You didn't give us as much screen time as I would have wanted because you're a real funny dude, but you were great, man. So shout out to you.
Thank you very much.
Shout out to you because you're the only reason that I potentially could have looked cool when I tried to go on my run and immediately lost to Charlie, because it was you that was like, Luke said he's going to stay up there. He's never coming back. And I was like, shout out to you, Brad. You made it seem like I was going to be a badass, and then I wasn't, but it was still fun to have somebody hype me up.
Yeah. I actually think I got more airtime than I expected being a normie. So, you know.
I wanted more out of you. That's all I'm saying. Every time you did have the camera on you, you gave us gold, pun intended. But yeah, man, I just wish there would have been a little bit more of that. I think you were really good on screen, and I would have loved to have seen more. But either way, man, what you gave us was solid. So shout out you.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for guessing. And thank you, everyone, for listening. We'll see you next week for the finale, 2-hour finale. I'm afraid of how long this podcast is going to be, but it's going to be great.
It's going to be 4 hours.
It's going to be 4 hours. We're
Sounds
just
like
going
a lot
to
of commercials.
We have to do a 2-part podcast. All right.
I'm so excited.
All right. We'll see you all. Peace.
All right.
Bye,
Bye, y'all.
Yeah.